That was my birthday, by the way. Oh, you mentioned that. Okay, so. I go back a ways with this comedy thing. But, I just want to say that cocaine is a grossly overrated drug. Grossly overrated drug. Seriously, as someone who's done some drugs in my life, cocaine is let's just say the effects of it are subtle. Back in the 80s, that's when you can get a lot of cocaine because the US military was down in South America, and that's when, like when the military was in East Asia, we got a lot of cheap heroin. And when we were in South America, we got a lot of cheap cocaine. It's a coincidence. So I had offered a lot of opportunities, but it was still expensive for a limited effect compared to $3 for a fucking 8-hour experience. You know what I'm talking about? LSD is still the fucking best thing. Fuck everything else, comparatively. Fuck everything else. Unless you just want to be social and party, or do you want to fucking burn through this reality into the next one? Whatever you're trying to do. I was at a couple years ago, this happened a couple years ago, but it doesn't matter, it could have happened yesterday. I was at a restaurant on my lunch break at work, and I overheard some 20-something guys. They're like early 20, they're like 19, 20. A couple of, like 3 guys, and they were talking about I wasn't listening because I don't really, I like to go to places and eat and drink and whatever, and I like to hear voices in the background. I don't want to hear what they're saying. I really wish they were speaking another language. That would be better. The people that get upset about hearing other languages, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you trying to eavesdrop on their... I would prefer not to know what they're saying. I'll just hear the voices of humanity and not know what their words are. And this guy, there was one guy who was kind of holding forth. He was the more sexually, apparently the more sexually experienced of the group. And this is what I heard. Fuck, man, it haunts me to today. This is what he said. He was like, I don't know, man, KY, fucking saliva, Vaseline. I'll tell you what, man, tears. Tears are the best lube. Yeah, it's fucking horrifying, right? I heard that. I was like, taking a bite of my sandwich. I was like, I have to write that shit down. I was horrified, and it was fucking awesome at the same time. I wish I had come up with that. Tears are the best lube. Because it brings several different things together. There are 2 main things that I've been struggling with, which is depression, which involves tears, and then like a little fucking monkey at the back of the base of my brain, the back of my brain that's just back there all the time doing exactly what you think he's doing. And constantly, fucking constantly. It doesn't make any sense, you know. I'm getting older. It shouldn't be happening anymore. Like it makes sense biologically for the little fucking monkey to be like, you know, doing your rutting years, so that you can rut and fucking reproduce. That's what we're biologically intended to do. But I'm fucking 52, and I'm not doing that anymore. I don't need to reproduce. But my back brain hasn't gotten the memo. Anyway, those 2 things came together with this tear lubricant thing. So, and it comes out, there was a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, when I was talking about my depression. Let's not talk about that, because let's just not. I'm gonna look at you and say, can we not do that? Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, I appreciate that. You give me permission to not talk about that. So, but I did go off on one of our little, what are we calling this now? It's not pop-up, what do we call it?
Michaela's pushing for pops up, I want backyard, stand up, like I doesn't.
Backyard, okay. But you can't do it in the parking lot then.
Yeah.
Backyard stand-up, that sounds good.
We don't want to do it.
Years ago, this is unrelated, except I was in a band for many years in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It was called Front Yard Junta. And you're talking about backyard stand-up. That was the name of the band. And there was a guy who insisted on introducing us as Backdoor Juanita, which I took offense to. But I talked about being really like weirdly sexually focused on the globe. And when I mean the globe, I mean like the Earth, like the Earth. And that's weird, but I mentioned that I've done a lot of LSD right back in the day, so you can kind of put that together. Like, which is not a sexy drug. It's not like, you don't usually do a lot of sexy stuff on it. Or, I don't know, I guess cocaine supposedly is sexier, but both of them, like, anyway. And fetishizing, sort of, or objectifying the Earth sexually, and I know that that's weird. I envision myself as sort of like a cosmic entity that has no physical, and I envision the Earth, and I just get my cosmic face all up in that, like the Pacific or the Atlantic. I just enjoy it and embrace it, but there's something called the Pangea hypothesis that that's hilarious, isn't it? Yeah, it's science, motherfucker. It's not a joke. But thank you for laughing. The idea that all the different continents, there's like 7 of them or whatever, or there's just 6 now. Did we change that? Right. Because Australia is an ice dwarf, right? It's not a no. I'm thinking of Pluto. I get them mixed up. And I'm pretty sure that this joke would be way better if there is a lot of plutonium in Australia. I don't know if there is. I didn't do the research. So. But there used to be the idea is that there used to be all one thing. And I'm like, okay, whatever. What does that mean? There was like some weird fucking continental orgy going on. And then but seriously, take a look at, I'm gonna put this down. You have to take a look at, I have to do this correctly, not to me. No, like this. This is South America. Okay? What is this? What is this over here? You know what it is. This is Africa. You can see that shit, right? Like, don't look at my little chicken wings. Think about, you've seen the fucking globe. You know what it looks like. Imagine, like, it is obvious when you see these two, you're like, oh, I see what was going on, or what was going on. Clearly, they're having some time apart right now. At one point, clearly, this was a thing. And right now, it's, Facebook status. It's complicated. But back then, there was this, and then allegedly, there was North America all up on top of it, like North America would do, like getting and eventually pulling away, leaving like the Central American, and then Eurasia all over on the other side, and then Australia down the corner, like some cuck, just fucking. I mentioned Australia a couple times now, haven't I? This is a little not a transgression. It is probably that, but what I mean is a digression. Thank you.
Oh shit, Trevor, is that correct?
I think it's a digression.
No, it is.
It is, and it's also, just wait for the other part. Here's the phrase, achy dyke. That sounds offensive, or perhaps titillating. But all it really is how you pronounce okey doke in Australian. Say it out loud. So there's Australia down there doing that thing. But the only one that's really obvious is Africa and South America clearly were a thing at one point, and they're not anymore. We don't know the story. We don't know. It's on a glacial scale. It's on a fucking geological scale. We're just like, what's going on? We're gone. But when they're getting it on, like, it's very slow. And I don't mean slow in the like softcore, what they used to call softcore porn, erotica, you know, what the Pornhub search term of popular with women. I mean, there's a backstory, and like there's a lot of simmering, and will they or won't they? And the stakes are high, and is it gonna happen? It's way slower than that, like slow. Like we don't, like every little takes so long, we cannot perceive it. Whole civilizations rise and fall in the midst of it. It doesn't matter. To the continents, I'm sexually anthropomorphizing continents. 'Cause, I don't know, have you ever done that? I think I'm the first. You're winning. And this is what I picture. They're the main characters. The rest are just fucking peripheral. These two are clearly the main thrust, if you will, of the story. And they're moving at a good level, it's slow. But, I see the light. Okay. Am I at 11? I got a minute. Okay, here we go. Well, they got a minute. They got a fucking geological minute. Every little movement. And then this is what humanity is. This is us to them, because they're not slow. They're fucking ants or whatever, and tree beard. And this is human civilization to them. Like they're getting it on. There's like, what was that? Don't worry about it, baby. And that was like Lemuria or Atlantis or whatever. That was like an entire civilization of humanity. And she was like, no, that felt like it was, no, just don't worry about it. Let's get back in there. She's like, okay. I don't know what the genders are and whatever. It's getting it on. And there's another one that comes along. She's like, no. Stop. That was real. Oh, come on. Let's get back to it. No. Did you give me humans? I feel like you gave me humans. Humies. Like Hermans. You gave me hupies. No, baby, it's fine. You don't hear anything. Oh, we're between outbreaks, is what you mean. We're between outbreaks. You know what? I can't be with you anymore. And that's what this separation is about right now. That was the original. And now we're in another outbreak in the middle, not the middle. I feel like we're near the end. We flashed the light on this particular outbreak because once the humans figure out how to split the atom and create diseases and shit, it's almost over. So that's it. Good night.
Woo! Fun walk, everybody.